Topping today's news, a Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer, the latest homicide victim. Jones Communications loses one of its valued members, and the taxicab union supports the government's move to recall plates. Good evening, I'm Jarino Saunders, and this is your JCN Evening News. Thanks for joining us. A shocking night for the Royal Bahamas Defense Force on Thursday evening after an active duty Royal Bahamas Defense Force officer became the country's latest homicide victim when he was ambushed at his home on Pine Yard Road in eastern New Providence. Police Press Liaison Officer Superintendent Audley Peters, flanked by other law enforcement officers, including Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Dr. Raymond King, says sometime after 8 p.m., police were called to the Pine Yard Road area as a result of the shooting. He says on arrival, the officers found the Marine lying on the verge of the street, suffering from gunshot wounds.
Our investigations thus far indicate that the victim had just arrived home. When he was approaching his door, 3 suspects armed with firearms approached him and discharged their weapons at him. He attempted to run, however he collapsed on the verge where the officers found him. At this juncture, we could confirm that the victim was a serving member of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. The criminal procedure code requires us to follow a certain protocol, and so we cannot divulge his identity until an identification by a next of kin.
Superintendent Peters could not give a motive for the shooting and whether it was an armed robbery turned fatal. However, he made the following statement.
We do not know the details as we are led by some information at this time. As we put the pieces together, at some point we will know the root cause of this incident. We are following significant leads. This investigation seems to be promising, but all the details must come together, and we have to get information from other stakeholders for us to know what happened, who's responsible, what is the cause of this incident, and bring it to some closure so that we can get the adjudication process started.
Police investigators are making this appeal to the general public.
We ask members of this community who may hear, see, or know of any details concerning this event to contact our police department by 502-9991 or 2, or walk into the Elizabeth Estates Police Station where they can communicate with Chief Superintendent Damian Robinson, who's the area commander, or anyone at that station.
Dr. King called the incident a tragic event as he expressed his condolences to the family. Police are actively investigating. National Security Minister Wayne Munro says if police can effectively reduce the rate of violent crimes in the country, resources attributed to the police force can be repurposed and used in other ways. His comments come just hours after a serving Marine on the Royal Bahamas Defense Force was gunned down outside his home on Thursday evening.
Their job is to call lawbreakers to account. They do a fairly good job at it. It would be very good if people decided to stop breaking the law and would make the resources we have to put into the police force, we could reduce that and use that to help people doing other things.
When asked, Minister Munro declined to comment on the specifics regarding the shooting death of Marine Seaman Jovante Miller. It is alleged that Mr. Miller was not alone when he was shot, nor was he the sole victim of the shooting. According to reports, a second man was with Mr. Miller at the time and was transported to hospital via ambulance. However, police have denied that a second victim was involved. As for Minister Munro's position on the matter, he says at this time he is awaiting the necessary briefing to properly appraise himself of the specifics.
It was a Defense Force Marine. I was updated by the Acting Commissioner of Police, Clayton Fernanda, and the Commodore of the Defense Force, who also went on the scene with his intelligence department and senior leadership. They will investigate the matter as they investigate all matters, and they will brief me when it is appropriate. I cannot assume that it has anything to do with the status of the Marine. I think he's a leading Seaman Miller with his job. It might be, it might not be. It's important for the police to do their investigations so that they may follow every lead to find out who did actually that.
Marine Seaman Miller's death last night marks the country's 64th homicide for the year, and police are again calling on the members of the public to come forth with any information they may have regarding this or any illegal activity. Meantime, we here at Jones Communications Network are mourning the loss of one of our very own. Management, with deep sadness, announced Friday morning the passing of the beloved and energetic co-host of Love 97's Breakfast Club morning show and host of the popular Rewind the Rhythm, Jay Michaels. In this next report by Lissy Bastian, we remember our fallen comrade.
It was heartbreaking news for us here at Jones Communications Network when we learned of the passing of one of our own, Jay Michaels, who died on Thursday, June 23rd at the age of 69 after a brief illness. Many of you will know Jay only through his voice, as he was the co-host of Love 97's Breakfast Club morning show, as well as the voice behind the popular show Rewind the Rhythm. His passing leaving many at JCN saddened. In announcing his death, CEO of JCN, Kim Jones, says Jay Michaels was successful in bringing a level of freshness in all of his shows, and while he did not live in the Bahamas, he made it his mission to stay abreast of every major event, adding that Love 97 is indebted to Jay Michaels for his contribution.
It gave him tremendous joy to broadcast the birthdays, anniversaries, and special achievements of Breakfast Club listeners and those who became his extended family and friends. His level of professionalism and enthusiasm made every occasion grand. We could always rely on Jay to present the most creative ideas in marketing and to promote them on the air. Jay was a very loyal member of the Love team who remained committed to the very end. He will indeed be missed.
For 15 years, Jay Michaels co-hosted the Breakfast Club morning show with Max Dean, who says that the years expand far beyond.
I enjoyed the flavor that he brought. He was someone of wide experience, many contacts, and used those contacts in his programming. And so we had a good teamwork. Certainly the opportunity to physically see him was rare, but nevertheless, when we got together, it was something that seemed to work. We thank the management for allowing this flavor of broadcasting, and certainly on behalf of my family, to his family, we are saddened by his loss, and I'm sure that the broadcast and the bigger industry at large is going to be missing a voice that has been steady in the field for many, many years.
Jay lived a life that involved many aspects of entertainment. He was a genuine happy soul, keen on holidays, and doing what he could to brighten the day of many of his avid listeners.
I would have heard from Jay by now because next week, well, the Independence holiday is coming up, and Jay always wanted to know 2 weeks in advance, is he working or not, so that he could send his drops in advance. We talked over the phone, we communicated through emails. We always wanted to know if we needed him to do ads or a show or promotion, any ideas that we had, we could pass it on to him, anybody we wanted him to talk to. And sometimes I would hear from Jay up to maybe 3 or 4 times a day, depending on what was going on.
It's so sad to hear about the passing of Jay Michaels. I spoke with him on the 18th of June, and he was in good spirits. And I sent him a little sticker telling him he's always in my heart. You know, we chat for a while, but he always checked on me and asked me, "Kiddo, how you doing?" You know, but I guess now there's no glow and there's no show for Jay to get you on. But it's really sad, though. I really feel that.
Our colleague, Jay Michaels, he was a beacon of professionalism. He'll be sadly missed, man, because I could depend on Jay Michaels to to several things in the radio field. And he was a very nice gentleman. And I would like to send condolences to his family in Philadelphia and Florida.
I must say that I was absolutely surprised to hear about the passing of Jay Michaels. You know, we spent quite a few years in the morning time on radio, especially when we did sports here at Love 97. You know, his energy was just infectious, his laughter, his stories, his knowledge of things Bahamian. You know, a lot of folks believe that he was right here in the Bahamas, where he knew so many things that were happening right here in the country.
Jay Michaels will definitely leave a void for many of his listeners. Jones Communications Network expressing our condolences to his wife Ruby and his entire family in Florida and Philadelphia. May his soul rest in peace.
Thanks, Lassie. A video of what appears to be a patient at the Princess Margaret Hospital, PMH, using an illegal substance has been widely circulated on social media. In the video, a man bound in cast on both arms and his left leg appears to snort a substance from a tube held by another man before rubbing his nose multiple times, being taken by the effects of the substance. Public Hospitals Authority, the PHA, released a statement on Thursday evening reminding the public that illegal and prohibited substances are a violation of their safety protocols and policies, further stating that breach of these policies by patients or visitors will be thoroughly investigated by the law. JCN News understands that no report on the incident was filed with the Royal Bahamas Police Force thus far. On the health front, as the most recent viral infection called the monkeypox now has over 3,500 cases in 44 countries, according to the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC, and with one confirmed case in the Bahamas recently, former Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands says all infectious diseases that occur around the world will eventually make its way to the Bahamas. He says monkeypox is not new, and he would advise to make sure that all individuals' vaccinations are up to date.
And so one of the challenges that we have seen has been a reduction in measles coverage, mumps coverage, and so on and so forth. Whereas we used to be at 92%, 93% vaccination coverage, we're now down in the 70s, and that is a potential disaster. So we don't need to look for some exotic disease to start taking people out. Measles, mumps, rubella, these types of things now, we are more susceptible because many mothers and fathers and guardians and aunties and grandmothers and grandpas have stopped taking their children for various reasons to get vaccinated. And that is the bigger problem.
Dr. Sands also addressing recent COVID test relaxations for vaccinated people entering the country. He says while he and all Bahamians welcome relaxations, we must not let our guards down.
It's important for us to juggle in a very real way the benefits of our economy and health. Let me say categorically that I think Bahamians welcome the relaxation of restrictions. I welcome the relaxation of restrictions. What I don't want us to do is relax our guard. Let us not let our guard down. Let us stay focused. Let us continue to analyze the data. Let us continue to collect the data and modify our behavior accordingly. The Bahamas can become the safest, most enjoyable, COVID-free economy if we do some things right.
Dr. Sands says he is hopeful for the future of the Bahamas. From the magistrate's court, an American man has been sentenced to 12 months at the Bahamas Department of Corrections after he pleaded guilty to possession of an unlicensed firearm and ammunition. Police in Marsh Harbor, Abaco arrested the man at the Leonard Thompson International Airport after they were alerted by security officers that a .38 Kel-Tec pistol with a magazine containing 5 live rounds of ammunition was discovered in the man's luggage on Tuesday, June 21st. While screening passengers checked luggage, security officers at the airport in Marsh Harbor observed what appeared to be a firearm and ammunition. The American man identified himself as the owner of the luggage and was subsequently arrested. He appeared before a magistrate where he pleaded guilty. Meantime, 2 adult males are in police custody after they were allegedly found in possession of dangerous drugs. According to the police on Grand Bahama on Wednesday, shortly before 10 a.m., a team of officers from the 8 Mile Rock Division and the K-9 unit, acting on information and armed with a search warrant, went to a green single-story residence in Martintown and on their arrival observed 2 males sitting in front of the residence. Upon seeing the officers, one of the males ran into the residence. The officers gave chase and caught the male and informed him of their suspicion. A search was conducted by the K-9 unit with a positive indication of a black bag on the bathroom floor. A search of the bag revealed a clear plastic wrapping containing a quantity of suspected marijuana. As a result, the 2 males were arrested. Investigations are continuing. We'll take a break here, and we'll be right back after these commercials.